that sort of popularized the Super Bowl as a great venue. That was all about Apple's intent on creating buzz marketing, you know, sort of the Orwellian model of IBM, the monolith, and undermining that with the woman throwing the big monkey wrench in the whole thing and blowing up the whole thing. And that created a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement. Anybody that knows about YouTube knows about Lonely Girl 15. Now, whether or not that attracted pedophiles or drove videos through the roof, nobody really knows, but it certainly had an amazing impact on what on there. So buzz marketing is really, we call it viral marketing. It's really about promoting an idea. It's promotional PR, I guess, in one context. It's promotional advertising in another. But it's about taking an idea and spreading it in a way where people start talking about your product or your service or your political candidate. We have a distinguished panel to introduce. First off, Jeff Jarvis actually runs a buzz machine, so he's really adept at handling this. He blogs about media and news at buzzmachine.com. He's also he's an associate professor and director of the Interactive Journalism Program at the City University of New York, New Graduate School of Journalism. Consulting editor of Daylight, a news startup. He writes a new media column for The Guardian. As well, he's prior to this, all of this, Mr. Jarvis was creator and founding editor of Entertainment Weekly, Sunday editor and associate professor of the New York Daily News, TV critic for TV Guide and People, a columnist on the San Francisco Examiner. Okay. All right. And he was a straight A student. Richard Edelman, CEO of Edelman, New York.
Is it no show?
No show, okay.
Rick Murray.
Okay, go to Rick Murray. I don't have your...
I work for Richard Edelman.
Okay.
He's just good at it.
Okay, so one thing, a note or two on Edelman. The only independent global PR firm. You do work for Edelman, right?
I do indeed.
I remember that.
The first firm to apply public relations to building consumer brands. They invented the media tour, as well as created litigation and environmental PR. So they had some friends in the law profession. We're the first to use a toll-free consumer hotline and the first to employ the web in crisis management. And today's mission for Edelman, to make public relations the lead discipline in the communications mix. Very ambitious. The next is Gordon Gould, CEO of ThisNext, Los Angeles-based company. A shopcasting network where you can recommend, share, and discover great products. ThisNext believes that better buying means better living. Great products can help us be and experience the things that make us happy. Our goal is to help people discover great and deeply gratifying products. Every product on ThisNext is picked by ThisNext community. That means you. You can organize your picks into a product playlist where you can all shopcast. Shopcast lists and picks are tagged and searchable on ThisNext for easy discovery by other people. And then there's Barry Reichert, is that I'm pronouncing that right? Director of Persuasive Technologies, Porter Novelli, which is really a global public relations company. Takes a 360-degree view of your business and build powerful and distinct communications programs that resonate with stakeholders who are critical to your success. Their reputation for performance is built on a unique ability to gain an unbiased view of your entire communications landscape. And then finally, David Weinberger, co-author of Food Train Manifesto. He's a regular commentator on National Public Radio, all things considered, and the columnist for KM World, an internet design machine. He has a PhD in philosophy, and I like this, that entitles him to affect an air of smug obscurity whenever he chooses. We hope to get some of that today. He's also the one-person strategic marketing company, Evident Marketing. Okay, and that's our group.
Okay, well, we know that beer has more buzz than buzz, so we want to keep you from that. Before I get going, I talk very fast. I want to start with just a few introductory remarks. The first is that you can't buy buzz. Buzz is owned by the people. That's the essential relationship here, is they own buzz. I want to say, perhaps provocatively, that the video we saw earlier today from Paper Post, a company that I have complained about, buzzed against on my blog, I found to be, your word was appalling. Because what it showed was a means by which someone came along and created a means by which they motivated a mom to turn her kids into shills. And, sorry, but it trips me up. I just found that ridiculous, and I found that lacking utterly in credibility. So obviously my mom was doing this, mom was using this to do the Kathy Lee Gifford way to use her kids. So, not to be egotistical about this, but has anyone heard my story about Dell? I'll make it very fast. I wrote a post a while ago, a year ago, about how I had problems with my Dell. I headlined Dell sucks, which doesn't sound as, it's not as juvenile as it sounds, because that's what you do in Google when you put in any brand followed by the word sucks, you get the new consumer reports. So I wanted to join the wisdom of the crowd. The crowd in this case was 6 million large, who had, according to Google, said that Dell sucks. I plan to leave it at that. It mushroomed, because people just came around and joined in on this. And I didn't try to do this, but suddenly I found a mob behind me with pitchforks and torches, storming Castle Dell, complaining. And the point is, and by the way, it was a test about blogs, because the question I had was, are they reading the blogs? And Dwight Silverman from the Houston Chronicle called Dell and said, what's your policy? The policy was, look, don't touch. Well, they should come to us to talk about our products. So it went on and on and on. Dell's market share, customer satisfaction ratings, profit, revenue all fell, and stock price, but it wasn't my fault. But the lesson in the end was that Dell finally listened. Dell finally turned around, and they put people on outreach to bloggers who were complaining to get a good buzz. They started their own blog. They made videos about these blogs. And at Davos, where I just returned from, I met Michael Dell, who had the guts to go up to me directly, and he apologized for the bad machine. I said, no. It's all right. I have my Apple now. It's all right.
Oh.
But I said, your guys are improving. He's got a lot to do with doing. They're improving. You can learn this lesson, so there can be positive buzz. So there's negative buzz. There's ways I think that people try to exploit people, like the mom and those kids, which I again thought was just awful. But there's positive buzz that can turn around when a company like Dell can do well. So let me start just down and pipe in any of you, and pipe in any of you. We're a small, intimate group. So raise your hand, 2 hands, yell, scream, anytime. None of this wait for questions time, just anything you want to do. So, David, you're a blogger. You don't take ads in your blog. You, however, don't disdain marketing since you advise marketers. And so, what advice do you have to marketers in this new world of the media we control about what's the right way to do buzz and the wrong way?
I'm actually not totally convinced there is a right way to do it. I agree with what you say, buzz is ours. Basically, you want to be interesting, but marketers generally forgotten how to be interesting because they're so concerned with shaping message. And message, as my colleague and co-author Doc Searle said, and I think this is absolutely brilliant. He says, there's no market for messages. We don't want to hear messages. All of the presentations that show us how we're going to get better ads put into our faces when we go to a site, we're not there to see the ads. We don't want to see the ads. That's the fundamental problem that you're addressing by trying to figure out new ways of putting ads in our face. So we don't want to be buzzed. We will do what humans do, which is we'll talk about things that are interesting to us. So if you can manage to be interesting, you've got buzz. And if you try to manipulate it, it will blow up in your face, and it should. And as a blogger, I would be happy to be one of the first to help it blow up in people's faces. Bad manipulative buzz absolutely should hurt the buzzer. So I'm not convinced there is a way to do it except by actually being interesting.
So if you have a good product, a good service, and people recommend that service, that's the buzz.
That's buzz.
So that's what you really want to get on the train, pardon me, and ride with this. If that exists, if it doesn't exist, it probably means you have a bad product and bad service. But if you have a good product and a good service, there's a chance of a buzz?
There are lots of products that are really good that aren't very interesting.
Okay.
Right, just soda, well, not a good example. Twine. Twine is great twine. We've been doing good twine now for centuries.
It's made from hemp.
Exactly. So we've mastered the hemp, the twine problem, but nobody's going to talk about it except when it's interesting because people think they can smoke it, and then it becomes maybe get some buzz. There's lots of good products that won't generate buzz because they're just not that. They're great, but not interesting.
But for those that do,
Buzz about 20